Shabbat Smart Waste Pump Controller. This setup has a twin pump and a single float for each pump. So we can see the sump over here. We have a primary pump and a backup pump. Primary pump has a float at the lower level, and the backup pump has a float at the higher level. If the water reaches this level, the backup pump will operate. Now let's look at the connections. On the bottom right, we have a connection for the float. And here we have a connection going to the primary pump to the float. It could be a 2-wire float or a 3-wire float. A 3-wire float has a high and low. A 2-wire float has a high or not high. Alarm float, in our case, it will be the secondary pump, the backup pump. So if the water reaches this level, it will trigger this connection over here for the alarm, which in return will trigger the secondary pump. The Shabbat weekday contacts connection, if the contact is closed, it will be on weekday mode. If the contact is open, it will be on Shabbat mode. Power supply to the box, 9-volt power supply unit supplied with the unit, connects right over here. These are the two relays. The left relay is to operate the primary pump. So the live comes into the common connection, and when it's triggered, leaves out from the normally open connection, along with the neutral and earth, to the primary pump. The right relay will operate the secondary pump and the alarm. So here we will connect the secondary pump. We can see as well the same thing. The live comes into the common, leaves from the normally open, along with the neutral and earth, to the pump. As it's normally in setups where you expect the primary pump only to be able to empty the sump, and it's not happening, the secondary is operated, you can add an alarm to be connected to the right relay. So when the backup pump activates, it will also activate an alarm for the users to know that there's an issue with emptying the sump. Then we have the two rotary switches, RV1 and RV2. RV1, as we can see over here, the operation intervals in Shabbat mode. The operation interval could be anything from 10 minutes to 60 minutes. And RV2 will be the time the pump operates on each activation on Shabbat. It's between 3 and 10 seconds. Then we have dip switches. Dip switch number 1 can be on a 2-wire float or 3-wire float. So here we can select which float is connected to the primary pump. And on the dip switch number 4, right over here, we can set it to standard operation mode during Shabbat, or for the commissioning mode, the demo mode, where when we commission the system, we operate it in Shabbat mode, and every 20 seconds, the controller will activate the primary pump, and then we can play with the float and check that the Shabbat mode activates as needed. Thank you for watching.